Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is October 20th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Had a pretty fun Sunday. Had a pretty great Saturday evening. Actually, really great weekend overall. I really had a good time, despite the sniffles, despite having a little bit of sickness going. I would say update on Snifflegate. Still a bit stuffy. Maybe you can hear that in my voice now. A little bit of throat, a little bit of cough, all the yada yada there. But we're making it happen. I did have some nice warm tea, which was nice for this episode. So hopefully my throat is lubricated. I don't know, doing good, feeling all right there. Let's see. But I guess we can kind of work it backwards. Today I didn't do much. I had a bit of a late start. Got to the grocery store in like the thick of it in the afternoon. I was not happy about that part, but we moved. We got through it. Got all our goods. Wound up doing some workout time. I will say, just maybe because I'm not feeling too hot, I didn't have the like hardest workout ever. Didn't really like push myself too hard. But I would say, excuse me, that I think one of the little beauties of how I'm doing this is that like I'm showing up every day. So I always feel good that I'm like, hey, you came in, you sweated a bit, you made some shit move, right? So that does feel good. I like that. And then now we're here. We're finally podcasting a little later in the day for me, but overall, the weather's been nice. It's been good. But yeah, let's rewind back to Saturday night. I went down to Northside. Now that's pretty common, pretty typical. We were initially thinking like, ooh, well, Blink's a thing. And if you don't know what Blink is, it's like this light show that takes place, I believe, across Kentucky and Cincinnati. This is going on for like, I want to say several years now. Really cool, like, professional stuff, really nice. But when we actually started like really trying to like brainstorm on like how things were going to go down, we kind of realized that we really didn't have a great ride set up for it. And we kind of just said, let's just have a good casual night in the city, at least in North Side, you know what I mean? So it was nice, not too much action, just kind of hung out, a little bonfire chilling at the tavern, close out the night at Junkers, it was good. It was good shit. It was fun. We did listen to like a little bit of stuff along the way too, where they like kind of walking to and fro, and then I think we wound up walking back later, kind of like a little bit of like a kind of sat outside where they were playing like some music at another spot. So I mean, it was overall a good vibe. I will say a cool highlight, and I got to get into the food corner. I'm sorry. Was definitely watching Twilight Zone. I hadn't watched that since I was maybe a teenager. It's been so long. Also, it's nice because my friends have like a really nice TV. So like watching that in 4K was crazy. And also I couldn't help myself. Like I have this inane dumb habit of being the guy in the room who's like, ooh, I remember that person. That's a famous person from another movie or a show or a thing, whatever. And I always did that. I was like, oh, it's Dennis Hopper. He's playing a Nazi, but it's Dennis Hopper. So that was cool. I was like, oh, it's Robert Duvall. He was the consigliere, which I'm pretty sure I said concierge at first, and I was very embarrassed that I just yelled that out loud, and I was very wrong. But yeah, no, I had a good time, and let me say what my food corner was because it was good. I just unfortunately I didn't have the stomach quite for it. I guess it was a weird situation, but I ordered with my eyes. I got 2 slices of pizza, a meatball sandwich, and I technically messed up and ordered like 2 things of fries because they subbed out, or they already had the fries subbed in with this sandwich, and then gave me a whole order of fries, which I asked for. So I was like, oh, that's why it was a little bit more expensive. Okay. But the pieces of pizza that I got, one pepperoni, and the other was called the Bianca, which I believe it has like a white sauce and like it's like an assortment of veg. It kind of changes, I think, for the day or the week, or what have you. But yeah, it was really good. I just like literally got maybe around halfway through it, and I just looked at it, and I just really was just watching, Oh, I think at the time, yeah, we were watching like Scream 3. And I was like getting more into Scream 3 than my meal and realized like, oh, I'm playing with my food. This is bad. So, kind of had to cut it halfway, but it was still good. It's still yummy. Chameleon, they're back on my good end, with the pizza at least, I mean, everything else, they're fine. But yeah, no, we had a good night, good weekend. We can go ahead and do our startup and get into some news. All right. First story comes from WSB TV 2. At least 7 dead after ferry dock gangway collapses on collapses on Georgia's coast. At least 7 people are dead after part of a ferry dock collapsed on Georgia's Sapelo Island on Saturday, according to a spokesperson for the state agency that operates it. Multiple people were taken to the hospital, and crews from the U.S. Coast Guard, the McIntosh County Fire Department, the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, and others were searching the water, according to spokesperson Tyler Jones on the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, which operates the dock. Jones said a gangway at the dock collapsed and sent people plunging into the water. It happened as crowds gathered on the island for a celebration of its tiny Gullah Geechee community of black slave descendants. There's been 7 fatalities confirmed, Jones said. There have been multiple people transported to area hospitals, and we are continuing to search the water for individuals. Jones said he did not know what caused the gangway to collapse, but officials believe that there were at least 20 people on it at the time. The gangway connected to an outer plank where people board the ferry to another dock on shore. So yeah, obviously a very unfortunate, situation. Supposed to be a really joyous event, bringing people together, and you have this unfortunate happening. Can definitely kind of darken it. But obviously my condolences goes out to the family and the people involved in that. Hopefully anyone who's missing is found alive, and if I do hear find out anything more, I'll definitely be back to post about it. Let's go ahead and move on, though, to the next beat from Bloomberg, which also, fuck Bloomberg. I always got to throw in that fuck Bloomberg because sometimes they be fucking playing. I had to go out of my way to find this article because they paywall me. I always get mad about that. TGI Fridays seeks new financing in preparation for bankruptcy. So it looks like it's going down for TGI Fridays. And just, before we dig into this, I don't know if you were ever into TGI Fridays as a sit-down restaurant. Maybe this is just me getting nostalgic, but if I really think about it, that might have been the last place my father and I really got to sit down and eat when we were when I was younger, and maybe that's why I have more of a tie to it. But I think that's just me being on the couch, kind of really really deep diving it. What really is something that would draw me to TGI Fridays when I was younger was maybe not so much initially. Well, no, when I was initially, they had this really super sweet Jack Daniels glaze sauce that they would put on all their barbecue stuff. Looking back on it, it really wasn't that good. It wasn't that appeasing. But at the same time, I think you're a kid and you're like, ooh, I get to have some alcohol with my food. And you just kind of feel cool about that. So I would always order the ribs and I would just be like, yeah, this is so much better than Chili's. Even though that's a cope. That was not true. I shouldn't be getting my baby back ribs from them. Though, every once in a while I would. But I will say, no, TGI Fridays was just my favorite. They later shifted into the model of doing the the appetizer meals, or not meals, but I think they became meals to like me and maybe other people, and kind of how I became so app coded at places where it's like you could get like 2 for 10. I think they kept kind of raising the price up, but like you get like two appetizers for like $10 or something, and like sometimes they would be like unlimited, and I'm like, that's so cool. It was such a good time to be alive, and being able to just like eat as much mozzarella sticks as you wanted. Like that was nice. It was a good time. But those would be very fleeting deals, and they wouldn't stick, and then they'd come back more expensive, or they'd tweak it so you didn't get as much, or maybe it wouldn't be unlimited, whatever. But needless to say, or it might not have been unlimited. I might have been, hyperbolizing this, fantasizing this a little bit. It might have just been that you get two, but it might have maybe every once in a while it was unlimited. I don't remember. But it was a time of opulence, you know what I mean? And hell, this was even before they were going like all out with the endless shrimp at Red Lobster. But that being said, seems like everything is kind of floating down, because at the end of the day, these models really aren't sustainable, even though, I mean, TGI Fridays is long since kind of gone away from the app model, at least from what I've seen or remember. Kind of just almost like very much like run of the mill, all the same, like as a Applebee's or a, Chili's. I think actually though, really Chili's probably takes the crown. I actually would love to go and do a little food corner out of Chili's. That'd be fun, get another review in on that, because I saw they got like a Nashville hot mozzarella stick. I'm like, that sounds so sexy. Let's get into this article real quick. TGI Fridays Incorporated is seeking financing as the casual dining chain prepares to file bankruptcy protection in coming weeks, according to people with knowledge of its plans, after struggling to turn around a business pressured by customers' tighter budgets and preference for faster food. Actually, now that I'm realizing it, food is a bigger motif for the rest of this episode, which I like, me. The company is huddling with lenders in search of a loan that would help it continue running restaurants through the Chapter 11 process and emerge as an operating company, said the people who asked not to be named, discussing confidential information. TGI Fridays is working with lawyers from Ropes and Gray LLP on its bankruptcy preparations, which aren't final and may still potentially change, the people said. Representatives for the company and Ropes and Gray did not respond to requests for comment. DebtWire earlier reported on the potential of a bankruptcy. So, I mean, this is definitely an interesting development. They name drop, though, what is it? That Hooters may also be in a similar situation. Hooters, the dining chain famous for chicken wings and skimpy server uniforms, is also in talks with lenders and advisors as its own declining revenue forces it to close locations, Bloomberg reported recently. So, I mean, hey, I might have more to report there in terms of just like, the big chains kind of going down, which, I kind of want to say good riddance. Maybe that sounds morbid or whatever, but like none of these chains were ever too big to fail. I look at like the Ponderosas of the world, the Ryan Steakhouses, the Golden Corrals. These are institutions of my time when I grew up, when I was a child, just gorging myself on food until I wanted to puke. But that doesn't mean that they're forever. They come and they go. And I think that really food has changed in a lot of ways. They reference like Chipotle and just like other random fast foods and stuff like that. But I do think it just goes down to even more so like for me, I remember when I finally was like, oh, I got to be on my own. I'm by myself. Like, I got a handle on my shit. And I just quickly realized that, like, I can't be a person who eats fast food every day. I just can't go out to eat every day as much as I love to do it, as much as, like, that was what my family kind of grew up on a lot for, various reasons. But, yeah, like, it's just cheaper. It's more effective and efficient to just cook a lot more at home. So why am I going to go out to these places to eat? It doesn't matter even like when they offer me cool things like Krabby Patties or whatever. You know what I mean? Hell, I think maybe the last time I went out to a restaurant because of an ad for like an unlimited thing or some promotion was probably IHOP. And I remember I went there and I didn't even order that thing. I just got my usual order because just reasons. But that being said, like I haven't gone back like since. It's not like it was a stellar fucking experience. Like at the end of the day, I just wanted some pancakes, you know. So I don't know. I'm in the weeds here, but I definitely thought this was an interesting thing. One of the faves going under or potentially going under. You know what I mean? We'll see. I'll keep you posted. All right. We're closing out with some random just Trump things. In a way, this is a bit of filler, but I did find these headlines to be grabbers, as Trump is wont to do. He just kind of can't help himself but say some fucking crazy shit or do some fucking wild, funny shit. So, the next little block is for him. From the Associated Press, Arnold Palmer's daughter. Arnold Palmer's daughter reacts to Donald Trump's reference to her father. Now, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and then we'll backtrack. But on Saturday in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, the city where Palmer was born in 1929 and learned to golf from his father, Trump kicked off his rally in the campaign's closing weeks with a detailed 12-minute story about Palmer that included an anecdote about what Palmer looked like in the showers. When he took the showers with the other pros, they came out of there. They said, "Oh my God, that's unbelievable," Trump said with a laugh. "I had to say, we have women that are highly sophisticated here, but they used to look at Arnold like as they used to look at Arnold as a man." Like essentially, he was just all about fucking Arnold Palmer's fucking hog. And apparently, these guys were kindred spirits over golf. We've definitely talked about Trump and golf. He's a big golfer. Some say he has an amazing golf game. Many people are saying this. He even has the perfect golf game, some might say. He wouldn't say it, but, some might, some may. But, yeah, they backtracked after all this because they wanted to say, well, what does Arnold Palmer's daughter have to say about this? And I was like, or at least, one of them. And I was like, well, actually, I'm kind of curious. But I honestly thought on this one, I don't think Trump is doing like a Taylor Swift situation here. Like, this is an old guy. In terms of Arnold Palmer, it's an old guy in terms of Trump. Maybe they've been in the same circles. I didn't fucking know. So I was like, let me hear what she has to say. And it kind of put things in perspective. One of the late golf legend, I cannot say his name without mushmouthing. Arnold Palmer's daughters called Donald Trump's references to her father's genitalia a poor choice of approaches to honoring his memory, adding that she wasn't upset by the remarks. "There's nothing much to say. I'm not really upset," Peg Palmer Wares, 68, told the Associated Press in an interview on Sunday. "I think it was a poor choice of approaches to remembering my father, but what are you going to do?" Like, she kind of just, put the shrug emoji up. Apparently, Palmer was pretty Republican or whatever. So, kind of kindred spirits, birds of a feather here. They believe in like the log cabin GOP. I don't fucking know. They like a good golf swang. So, and apparently Trump was looking at that thing and he's like, God damn, little daddy, ooh, you got the lemonade and the tea. So yeah, I love that. And honestly, I cannot hear the name Arnold Palmer and not think about Arizona iced tea. Like, it's just synonymous to me because that's my favorite one. I literally just bought some today. So, I guess I'm going to have to sip on, some of that for him. I don't know. Now I know he has a huge fucking wang. That's so cool. That's great. But yeah, I mean, kind of a weird way to kind of close out your campaign. But I want to get into another little bit of antics or stunt, you might want to say. Or maybe even dev maneuver. Maybe others might say. I don't fucking know, but... we're going to close out with another Trump thing that happened this weekend. Excuse me. Let me go ahead, take my last break, and we will get into it. Oh, 1 second. Whew. That was a rough ride. Sorry about that. From NBC News, Trump attempts to troll Harris by serving French fries at a Pennsylvania McDonald's. Also, it's important to note both of these things are happening in Pennsylvania, a big battleground state that Trump and Harris are really fighting over. Georgia was also another one. I mentioned that recently. Michigan, also a big one. There's about 7 states in total that more or less matter for this election. And that's why you're going to hear a lot of coverage and a lot of things kind of happening, rallies, speeches, whatever, yada. So this one, I got to say, I personally thought it was an interesting move, but I think it's because this is one of the few things that Trump does that I kind of fuck with in a way where I'm like, I really like that he likes fast food so much, that he thinks like, no, I think this is like a cool American thing. I think it's great. I think that McDonald's is awesome, and people should think McDonald's is awesome. So I like this move. I think it's weird that he tried to do it. It seems strictly because he wanted to kind of flex on Kamala Harris, because it was something that she mentioned that she did as a teenager or something, as a youth. But let me go ahead and just read. Former President Donald Trump served up French fries Sunday at a Philadelphia area McDonald's, oversalting spuds and peppering in some jabs at Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, when I first read this, I thought it was just verbiage that they really focused on the oversalting thing. But apparently, it was reported that he definitely overseasoned the fries, which I think he's just, once again, you're playing to the people when you do that. Do you if you get an order of fries, I'm sorry, it is iconic to me. It's probably the reason maybe why I like salt so much is because of McDonald's, because the way they salt their fries. So if anything, Trump is salting that shit for the people. And I was like, damn, that's kind of based. It's kind of on point. It's good to do that maybe. I don't know. Some may call him crazy for that. I wouldn't. But anyway, let me continue before I sound like a fucking Trumper or something. The campaign visit in the critical battleground state just over 2 weeks from the election day was designed to troll Harris, who has talked about working at one of the fast food chain's restaurants when she was younger. Without evidence, Trump has accused Harris of lying about the experience as a way to improve her working class credibility. Let's see. I'll go ahead and read this quote from Trump. It was a big part of her resume that she worked at McDonald's. How tough a job it was, Trump said at a restaurant in Feasterville, Pennsylvania. What in the fuck? That's such a Guy Fieri-ass fucking town. I'm sorry, Feasterville? I mean, hell yeah, dude. That sounds like a place I would thrive in. I feel like I'd be a big name in Feasterville. But let me continue. Once again, this is from Trump. She made the French fries, and she talked about the heat. It was so tough. She never worked at a McDonald's. So essentially, he just said all that shit just to say, yeah, she didn't even work there, bro. But you know what, though? I took off my fucking, blazer or whatever, and I fucking did that shit, okay? I fucking handled the fries. I fucking moved that shit. Apparently, he also said that he paid for all the meals in the drive-thru. Also, it's worth noting that it looks like this was a very staged event. So he's doing all the glad handing and all that stuff, and people are shaking his hand oh, thank you, hey Mega, make America great again. They're fucking trying to tug him off in the fucking drive-through lane or whatever. But this is a setup thing, at least is what it looks like. And the owner was like, yeah, I just wanted to do some good community service and do my part and make sure everybody eats. Let's see here. Yeah, apparently she worked at a McDonald's in Alameda, California during the summer of 1983. She was a student at Howard University at the time and worked at the register as well as the French fry and ice cream machines. So, I mean, it sounds like Trump only really handled the fries and then kind of just did some vibes control. But I will say this is another thing, though, that Trump is also good at when I say he is very fast food branded and very fast food coded. I remember the last time we covered this man in a McDonald's. He was literally like a fucking Jesus figure, Christ-like, Masonic. And I think he just does, once again, well in these situations because he just likes the place. And he just knows, yeah, I know I got the juice here. I know no one really hates me here. And he just gets to, be himself. And, I don't know. I think that's when you do get to see peak Trump, I guess, for better or fucking worse. I will say it's always crazy, and they mention it here. Trump's own love for fast food is well documented. During a government shutdown in 2019, he famously served McDonald's, Burger King. He served McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and Domino's Pizza on silver platters to welcome and celebrate the National College Football Champion Clemson Tigers during their White House visit. You know what I mean? It was also alleged he had a Diet Coke button. I've heard that before. I don't, alleged. I don't know. I'm still pushing it though. But that being said, all those foods, those appeal to me. And it's like, don't get me wrong, at first blush, and of course, it's like, you're telling me I won a championship. I did something really fucking cool and very noteworthy. I get to go to the Oval Office. This is like a very like cool moment for me. And instead of eating like what I would think is like a real official dinner, I'm looking at fucking Big Macs and fucking, quarter pounders and large fries. Like what? Huh? Like it doesn't add up. But then when I think about it, this guy is actually serving me the most American things. Maybe I'm a little bit mad that it's cold, because it's probably a little cold. But like maybe they have like a microwave or something in the White House. Maybe they got it on heat warmers. I don't fucking know. But that being said, it's just so on brand with America that like it kind of didn't bother me the more I thought about it. You know what I mean? Like, would I eat the food? Yes. Would I tell the story? Of course. And I'd be like, that's crazy that we didn't even get like better pizza than Domino's. But y'all know I eat Domino's damn near. I was eating it damn near every fucking week this year. So, am I really one to speak? Of fucking course not. Do I think this is going to land? Any of this stuff? Talking about Arnold Palmer's big cock, or fucking him handing out fries to bumblefuck whoever. I don't know. Maybe. I think it plays to some people. It plays to certain vibes and feelings. I'm sure you could say the same thing about what Harris is doing on her end. But we are getting close, I mean, November 5th, it's a coming, I would definitely say, hey, hopefully you're registered to vote. Hopefully you do go out to vote. I'll say this again though. If you're not going to vote, I get it. I definitely do. I think the last time I really had a big talk with my audience about this shit where I really felt away was 2020. And I've just covered everything up until now every fucking day. And I gotta say, I'm a bit disenchanted. I've chained myself to the masthead that is doing the whole quote unquote democratic process, whatever. But I realize that I don't want to be a person that's pushing that shit on other people. You know what I mean? Unless I feel like it's just so apparent that it's like, why would you vote for the other guy? Or, you know what I mean? I don't know. And I generally think that it is important to not just vote for the big main, presidential ballot thing, but also vote for anything down ticket, also voting on anything, in the midterm. Those are very important, like, things to vote on. So I think just brushing it off and saying, like, I don't care about democracy, blah, I don't care about Kamala Harris, I don't care about Donald Trump, like, but there's other things that are on that, and it's not just something that you want to just go in half-cocked, there's definitely things like you want to go in knowing what you're about to vote on, because it can be, the language can be very worded, like, in very weird, deceptive ways, things of that nature, so... I'm always telling people to go out there and do your thing. Hopefully it's vote, but if not, I get it. You know what I mean? And shit, I'm a guy in Ohio. You're going to vote however you're going to vote in this town. I already know how this shit's going to go in this state. So, no alarms, no surprises on this end. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to call it for today before my voice gives out. But thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I'll see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.